expect him to go for the volley bear,
Ignore
but
what I just said.
okay, well, we didn't sub in Khan, but we're getting GimGoon give us a Khan cosplay because we're now going for this 1-4 composition coming out from FPX. Has obviously a ton of scaling. We want to see it go late. For the side of Victory 5, we're getting stock and standard Victory 5. We have the Ashe Thresh in the bot lane, going to secure that push, going to look for those aggressive fights, set up for Weiwei to look for those ganks, and we're going to see a ton of early action around Drakes.
All right, Dragons, the focus here as V5 try to do it once again. 2-0 against world champions. And GimGoon decided to show us his Jax. This is be fair or be square. Could be his exit.
Interesting because me and you were looking at a solo queue before this match and you were highlighting, oh, he's playing Camille, he's playing Fiora. Wasn't practicing any Jax.
No, he was not.
Obviously, as a good laning matchup into the Mordekaiser can do quite well in those one-on-one duels, but still, especially we don't expect him to put any pressure up around top side. I want to see how FPX is going to play this one because I remember we saw Bin in the split play Jax. I think he first spot Black Cleaver and played for the team and kept roaming. Yeah, that was me and you casting that one.
That was it was interesting. Did that win?
Yes.
Oh, it did? Okay.
Though it was against DMO, so, you know, throw the caveat there.
Oh, no. All right. Well, we'll see what this one goes for, but GimGoon is cosplaying, and FPX are on death's door in round 1. V5 up 2-0 on match point, and Mole Zoe returns alongside Sam D on his favorite Ashe.
Biubiu 加油！凤出东方，黄明四海。FunPlus 加油！
Ladies and gentlemen, the Jayos come through. Match point for V5 in this best of 5. To start off round 1, this series so far has only gone for about 55 minutes. V5, they win fast or lose fast. So far in this series, it's definitely been all about the winning against the Phoenixes. Mole returns to the Rift with the Spellbook Zoe, which we have not seen in a bit of a while. Well, we saw it in Game 1, of course.
Yeah.
In total, Spellbook has fallen out of favor, so Mole's still preferable with it.
We've seen some players still stick with it, but of course other players, I think off the top of my head, we've seen, I think it was Fofo go back towards the Electrocute and some other players like that. So, you know, still going to play more for the utility and the, like later on those team fights, right? Being able to switch over to the heal, the barrier, the ignite. So I still like the build coming out from Mole, especially up against the Orianna. You're not really looking for these heavy aggressive trades trying to burst her out in laning phase anyway.
At the very least, Mole dodging away from the command attack is going to be the start of this lane. Doinb on Orianna once again is, I think, to say the least, going to be interesting. Last time I remember casting this was with Khan on the Ornn.
Yeah, yes, I remember that as well.
Combo.
And once again, another dredge line goes wide for Chris.
Waiting in for the play, I believe. Chris gets pulled back in. The Ignite put down. Chris flashes away. This 2v2 lane we've talked about is dangerous when you're up against V5.
This is the bread and butter play from Victory 5, right? The Ashe Thresh. This is what we knew them for in like the first 5 weeks of LPL.
Yeah.
Chris missing the dredge line, ppgod and Sammy doing so much to punish.
And ppgod Thresh, you know, his most played and his best champion is GimGoon topside, meanwhile going to get the level advantage and smack down on Biubiu.
Yep, and we do expect Jax to do quite well in these early trades. And, you know, this was a good reminder from our observers that, you know, Jax did also get a bit of a buff this patch. The ECD getting 2 seconds shaved off feels great.
14 seconds is just part of the game, and he has it up available once again. Biubiu with a good death grasp himself. And Mordekaiser versus Jax, not a matchup we see all the time, but 2 players here in the top lane who, I guess, definitely top tier in the LPL right now. So it's going to be exciting to watch as Tian's going behind enemy lines to set up this gank.
And this is not stock in standard FPX.
No, they're not. They're going to do much like the IG dive as Biubiu death grasp flashes away. Tian has to run away. Nicely done from Biubiu.
And there's the lack of experience showing in playing through this top side, right? This is not something FPX ever do. And now we see Weiwei showing mid make his way towards topside scuttle.
Wants
Tian's
to
low.
kill Tian, still a duelist, but the face breaker flashing away from Weiwei still wants him. Onto GimGoon now, the target is Doinb running on in. The Haymaker shield given over as Mole. Comes on through, Weiwei absorbs a bit, flashes through, GimGoon getting first blood on this Jax as the Battle Star. Doesn't connect, Mole has to flash away. Biubiu goes into his death, and Big Father GimGoon with 2 first kills.
And V5 were not on the same page. You can see Weiwei did want to go for it, but Mole didn't hover right away. Mole missed everything. Sleepy Trouble Bubble didn't connect. Paddle Star didn't connect. And great start coming out for FPX, especially with those kills going onto your Jax.
When you're talking about a 1-4 that FPX can execute, the early kills on this Jax going to be great. With the Vampiric Scepter picked up as the first of that.
One thing we need to highlight, though, is obviously playing that hard split push style isn't as prevalent this meta. Many people have talked about how you need to fight for these dragons. You can't just give over a soul later on. The great thing for FPX is it's not going to be an Infernal Soul, so that's one of the OP souls taken off the table. But hey, we're seeing Victory 5 go for the FPX play.
Yeah, LWX and Chris know this out of their book, and they're going to respect it for now while the turret plating goes down to Sam D and ppgod. Big CS differential already built up in this bottom lane.
Now it's going to be really interesting because we're going to see the teams play through 2 completely opposite win conditions, where obviously Sam D and ppgod are getting strong on one side of the map, GimGoon on the other. Can V5 transition this and start stacking up these Drakes early on and outpace FPX's comp?
Tian is now on the bottom side of the map after his interesting gang towards the top side. Not sure if there's a ward place there, but they're backing in the same brush. ppgod is waiting out. Sam D, yeah, he's spotted out. And they'll take the alcove, come back into the lane, so they will not back just yet. ppgod out with the death sentence, waiting for it. Crisp out of range.
And I just want to see, so it looks like Mole right now is going to go for a reset off of Mole's reset, try to come back to lane, try to get some mid lane prio, and start playing for this Drake, right? We see Sam D and ppgod having the consistent push, so maybe we'll see them push out one more and get a recall as well. But at some point within the next 2 minutes, I want to see V5 transition into picking up the first Infernal.
All right. We have Weiwei who has to recover after dying up in the top side. We'll track him a little bit closer. Right now, where are you, Weiwei? Heading up towards topside scuttle. Tian's here again. It's not even the scuttle, it's just the dive that's about to come through.
But Weiwei's reading this well.
Coming into lane with a level disadvantage. Tian now here. Pillar placed on down. Biubiu wants to bring them in. No death throw available. Death Grasp pulls back Tian. Turret shots come out thick and fast, and Weiwei just wants to get on in there. The Facebreaker instead onto GimGoon. Tian's walking back in. But that's kind of the end of the play as GimGoon jumps back with the leap strike.
And Weiwei tried, he smited to get the Nimbus Cloak, movement speed, run forward, but wasn't able to make anything happen. ppgod roams over as well. But overall, it's still nice that they counteracted the play coming out from FPX, even if they couldn't turn it into any kind of tangible goal.
X-Flash over the wall from Weiwei. Meanwhile, Biubiu and GimGoon might be facing off. But Weiwei in the midst of it wants to push the wave. Level 6 Jax is just going to use this opportunity to stick around.
Maybe they bring Tian back, because right now he's doing drugs.
Okay.
Come on, Weiwei actually just leaves, so GimGoon just going to be able to walk out scot-free. So far, it's a pretty good cosplay, honestly.
Yeah?
Might even be better than the original.
Oh,
Not to throw any shade, but...
No. And if we go to a game 4, they bring in Khan anyway. They say, why not? We should have done this in the first place.
They bring in Khan and they put him on Volley Bear Mordekaiser.
Or LWX gets subbed out with Khan and GimGoon again.
Hey, I mean, I think Doinb bot looked pretty legit. For any of those you who didn't watch, in FPX's last series, LWX was sick. So they brought Khan top, put GimGoon mid, and put Doinb in the bot lane. It was quite the spectacle.
It's like Renekton and Jace mid the whole series long.
Cassiopeia bot.
Yeah. I was hoping like we'd see Khan play 80 carries.
Me too. Again, probably plays like Lucian, Quinn obviously.
Even Jake, bottom lane, I thought was going to come out.
He'd be able to bring out some interesting ones.
But bottom lane, meanwhile, as we return, 10 CS lead, but LWX now has the Vampiric Scepter, so a bit more damage available in the kit here of the 80 carry of FPX. And that Dragon still hasn't been taken, sitting there as a constant reminder as to what we will expect.
And it's interesting, right? Because sure, they didn't go for the Dragon, but they counteracted the play on top side. The thing I don't necessarily agree with about that is this Jax is obviously a ticking time bomb, so you just bought yourself more time, but we haven't transitioned it into anything around the map yet. And now FPX are the ones stacking up objectives, and your Jax is scaling, your Orianna is scaling, your Trundle is going to scale quite fine as well. Going to steal all those defensive stats from Weiwei later on.
On the way down and zoning tool. Mol's running in.
By himself.
By himself. And he will not steal it. Walks forward, takes dissonance, and Herald goes over to Tian. And Chris is still roaming. In comes Weiwei. They want the pick. Trundle lands on the Doinb. B5 forces this one as a cleanse is used. ppgod comes in with the flash play. The box plays down. Doinb has the flash himself. As the shockwave hits Super, Weiwei comes in first. ppgod's going to sacrifice his life, but it is a 1-for-1 on support. While Tian gets at half health. And V5 back away after giving a kill to Mol again.
But still, 1-for-1 overall when FPX were the aggressors. FPX were the ones who committed so many resources. ppgod flashing in, and it put them sandwiched between Tian and Doinb, and it just made it extremely awkward. Overall, I don't think it was worth play for V5. I understand it here. It looks good. You have ppgod still going in. Weiwei kind of dissuaded by the pillar. Doinb flashed over the wall. Actually sandwiched between Chris and Tian, I'm sorry. So ppgod gets taken down pretty early. And they just equalize 1-for-1.
Tian's the one to pick up a kill. Remember that we got Tian with the Rift Herald in hand as well.
So I guess you did just blow support flash for mid lane flash, so it is worth in that sense if we can find a repeat play made around the mid lane. We have seen Weiwei put some attention here a few times, just Doinb showing the respect so far.
And recency experience of the series has been that Molzo is pretty good. So now with a kill in hand, again to start him off with the Dark Steel stacks. Beginning game number 3. Call it the vote of confidence as Doinb backs away. Remember, he doesn't have teleport, so he have to walk the lane as Mol shoves it in once again.
Yeah, and again, good start from FPX, but still, we've seen good starts from FPX in the previous games, and typically it is around that 10 to 15 minute mark where it starts to fall apart.
Yeah. The plays at a high risk, high reward. I think it's the perfect way to coin how FPX have been playing this split.
Still, the good thing for them is they do have the Herald that can open up a long sideway lane to set up GimGoon to deal a lot of damage.
Weiwei jumping in, wants the Hex Flash in time. Wow. Gets out.
I love the confidence coming out from him with that play.
Counter-Strike would have been half a second and be reactivated.
Here we go. They're 3-man in top. They have the Herald. They're going to set up the long side lane for the Jax to abuse the Mordekaiser.
Death Trap's available. Shield comes out, but he's just dead before he can use it. GimGoon is the one taking up for now. Rather, Tian, gets trouble bubbled, and Mol gets a massive shutdown onto the big Jax. A 1-for-1 once more. But Mol is getting fed.
Yeah, and I mean, we've been in this situation before to where we saw FPX technically in a better position with how their comp was taking fights, but still Mol got fed on the Zoe and he was the one dealing the massive amounts of damage. It's interesting that we see FPX's bot lane hovering over, maybe trying to read a potential transitionary play from Mol and look for a pick, but they aren't able to find it.
So we get back to farming for a little bit, heading towards the Cloud Dragon in 2 minutes 50. Not even the 1k gold lead anymore, but Tian with the Rift Herald, top side. And here we go for good old good.
And this is exactly what you want as a Jax. You're going to be able to get the isolated 1v1 up against Biubiu. Biubiu, of course, has bought a Bramble Vest, so at least isn't going to take too much punishment from the Jax. But once again, V5 are the ones who need to accelerate the pace of the game, need to start finding these picks.
Run away. Still be at half health. Once again, Trundle bubble through the air. And Mol willing to sacrifice the blue buff alongside Weiwei. For now, maybe a steal comes through, I'm not sure. But given over in the end, Mol pops his head over to see it go over to Doinb. A good steal, a takeaway by FPX.
Man, we have not seen Chris hit a dredge line this series.
No, we have not. Well, he's hit one bottom side before in game 2 that he probably didn't want to.
I was going to say, he's hit all the point blank ones that he probably shouldn't have looked for.
Oh yeah, the ones that he wanted, he did not. Crisp having an off series, but not really off when you consider how he was in summer. Crisp having an off split. An easy way to put it as Mol setting up trouble bubble. Shockwave was available, but Doinb didn't want to commit to it. While now it's the blue buff reverse steal.
But Tian is here. Doinb's pushing out the wave, so he's going to be able to hover. Actually, though, they just give it up.
First the main use. While meanwhile, top side, Death Realm is actually used onto GimGoon. Counter-Strike's not available. And for Biubiu, the flash comes through. GimGoon actually nicely dodged away. Waiting for the leap strike while Doinb wants to intervene.
Yeah, and Biubiu is quite low. So if GimGoon can get the push, actually just going to go for it anyway.
Has the flash available, wants to hit the minion wave. Counter-strike comes through, Death Trap sends him behind, he flashes away a little bit too late, and he's just dead here. Nicely done by the dual wall. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, a Channel Crystal Arrow was used. Crit survives for now. Tian uses the Subjugate. Weiwei commits though, and Mole's running in.
Yeah, let's see if Mole can find a sleepy trouble bubble.
The Tian, it's blind, wants the Trundle, but will not overcommit. Surprisingly enough, while FPX, their solo laners are getting topside pressure, but V5, first turret blood not secured. It's FPX in the end in that topside who managed to get it.
And this goes back to what we set up about 4 or 5 minutes ago, that, hey, these teams are playing through 2 different halves of the map, and we finally saw V5 consciously give up Biubiu and say, hey, we're not going to keep defending these roams. We need to make a play around our strong side, which is bot. They get a bit more gold onto SamD, and Dragon's coming up in 20 seconds. So again, V5 need to pick this up. V5 need to keep the ball rolling before this Jax becomes more of a menace.
And we are fighting in this second, with an Ashe in Blade of the Ruined King, where LWX does not have the same. Mole is on his first item with the Luden's Echo once again. So item discrepancies across the board. FPX are going to go up to the Herald instead, as Dragon now.
Yep, and right now, they're just making a trade, and this was the trade we've seen V5 making the past few games of, hey, giving up the early Dragons, taking the gold trade, and then coming out ahead in those fights 15, 20 minutes into the game.
It's kind of like reverse. 2 Dragons early picked up. Now from here, V5 would be the team that would get the rest of them. Tian's going to pick up Herald. SamD moves to the mid lane, and we're just looking up. A bit of gold here for Doinb, you must say. And even though GimGoon's the one to pick up the kills, Doinb has been farming well. He picked up turret plating in the top side. Now pressuring the inner turret against Biubiu. Tian's going to get face breaking here. Weiwei draws the attention. Doesn't get the true damage on the Haymaker. 1k gold lead for FPX. And that Herald still in hand for Tian, second time around. Interesting to see where he puts it now that turret plating is down.
Yeah, and I want to see now, again, we're even in gold, but as you just stated, FPX have the Herald. They could even just break down the spot side turret, once again give another longer side lane for GimGoon to play around. But how are V5 going to keep this going? Because they definitely need to pick up Soul, and they're probably looking at a game for Elder at this point. They're going to need that execute damage to come through to be able to take down members like Tian later in the game, to keep up with the damage output coming from GimGoon's Jax and Biubiu's Orianna.
At the very least, we'll look at someone like Mole, who, if he does find a pick, we might not have to wait for that 2-0 here on the Zoe. All right, Herald put down mid. Mole is moving his way down. Pings are getting spammed by V5. And FPX grouping up. Now, the charge won't get the pick, but the extra damage that comes through should help it out. And FPX will get the turret, Trundle level doesn't land, and move away as a 5-man unit. That'll be the end of it for now. It's a bit more gold in the back pocket of FPX, now leading by 2,000.
And it's surprising that when we finally got the game where V5 got the Ashe, they bring out the Thresh, everything's looking very stock and standard V5. This is the game where they make a mistake early, they fall behind.
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like at this point in the game, we're kind of favoring FPX.
Of course. We're losing people like GimGoon, who's going to get exhausted. Weiwei running on in, trying to take him down. There's no flash available. Ult into the wall, and that Showstop's going to done everything.
Ooh.
And the face breaker interrupts the leap strike. Jax stays in place. Mole gets kill number 3. And now they want the turret on top.
And this goes back to something you said in game 2, Aster, except V5 have shown us this clutch factor, so we can't discount them no matter how far behind they are.
Turret going down in Mole's favor for the gold as well. And if we're talking clutch factor, it's Mole and Weiwei who've had it all series long.
Yeah, they've done phenomenally, really was those two. And the other members, sure, ppgod's had a great series. Biubiu, especially in the team fights, has looked like a menace. SamD's been doing his job, but all of the big plays where it looked like, oh my god, V5 are going to lose this fight, always from an engage from Weiwei or just massive damage coming out from Mole. And we see here once again, Mole baiting GimGoon in. We're going to see the ultimate come out from Weiwei, but it's the face breaker that you highlighted. It's going to be right here, keeping him in and setting up for Mole to pick up another kill. Mid
Jump feels pretty good here. And I want everyone to note, Mole, once again, Majai's Soulsteal a 3rd game in a row with 6 stacks in his hand.
Yep, Mole following the route of Knight, maybe saying, hey, you know, this guy got voted the MVP of the league. I need to take some lessons from him.
So got a blasting one with that back too, so there was a lot of gold for Mole to spend.
Mole, of course, by the Chinese fans, is called Northeastern Faker, which is pretty fun. Because he's from the Northeast of China. That's why it's an interesting accent for if anyone heard the intro video and like when V5 was talking. It was a very different accent than a lot of players here in the LPL.
Very interesting. I already struggle to understand most of Mandarin. Moles is just so unique.
I love it. I think it's so fun to listen to. I mean, even ppgod highlighted that in his interview with Munchables. Is like, just listening to them all talk is so interesting.
Well, V5, after being down 2,000 gold, are now equal once more.
And they're setting up for this Drake. This is what they need to do. Just absorb pressure in topside, accept that GimGoon is winning. Biubiu doesn't need to look for any kind of solo kills or solo plays. Of course, he's gone Bramble Vest. He has the Seeker's arm guard. So he realizes he is playing for the team at this point.
Well, it is used. Enchanted Sahara hasn't come out many times. We saw it in the bottom lane. Sam D usually fires this across the map whenever he can.
It's because we haven't really seen V5 player on the bottom lane, right? They kept trying to defend Biubiu on the top side, but this will be a time where we want to see Sam D use the Enchantress Arrow and find this pick for V5 to pick up the Drake, but actually Doinb's backing. It looks like they might just give this one up.
And with it, we could give up mid pressure and V5 are teeing down. GimGoon roams down himself.
So Doinb actually stayed, but Tian's the one who backed, but clearly FPX are still posturing like they want to contest for this.
With everything available for V5, Dragon's going to start. V5, they need to know that FPX are going up towards the top of the map. They're going to start Baron.
And they have the Kalista, they have the damage necessary. Jack's going to provide a ton of defense as well.
Ashe. And also, you're on a scuttle. You're on a scuttle crab. That too.
Yeah, that feels like the bigger one.
Oh yeah. Well, back to biz then for FPX.
Well, now we're on Soul point for V5, so they just got to wait out this next 4 minutes and 40 seconds. And now we're going to be at a point where, hey, V5 have their avenue. They are building a lot of resistances on the Mordekaiser, on the Sett. We, of course, know they're going to come out on ppgod as well. And even Sam D able to build that death stance. And then as I highlighted, you know, a few minutes ago, Elder to me seems like the goal that Victory 5 are striving for.
Which with one more will be here in 9 or so minutes. You know, that pre-30-minute mark is when we can see Elder spawn.
It's actually quite interesting to me that the Colonel favors V5. Because though I can understand why they have the 3 Drakes, they'll still do pretty well in skirmishes right now. Again, FPX still buy their comp another few minutes. They're going to get another item onto GimGoon. They're going to get another item onto Orianna. Maybe the Colonel also hates these comps that play around side lanes as well.
Colonel is an LPL savant. Also note that the Colonel's stats there is not based off, like, he doesn't do the scales as Enchanted Power is going to come out. Wow. Let's kill Crisp, shouts V5, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Baron is up, but they're on the bottom side for now. That's a pick that gives more gold for V5.
V5 aren't usually one of our over-ambitious teams that would translate that to a Baron, like, let's say, a top esports or an FPX would, so I definitely expect this to take that. I expect them to take this a bit slower.
As ppgod hangs over for the balance. Tian poked down by Mole, who's still doing so much damage. They won't get the inner turret with the wave flip, but they're collapsing onto GimGoon. Chillings might come through. Facebreaker was close, and Mole spotted over the wall. GimGoon survived.
And doing a great job. This is exactly where Zoe thrives, being able to play over this long terrain and siege these turrets.
Flash away though, because Counter-Strike comes in, hits 2 people over the wall. Shockwave from Doinb is massive. Weiwei lines them up, and he's sacrificing his life. And Doinb with a great ulti keeps FPX strong in this game.
2-0-5 on the Orianna, 2-0-4 Trundle for Tian. And again, they're just getting larger and larger. And this,
Flashy. Sam D burns his own. Teleport being burned, and FPX might want to translate into the Baron starting.
Exactly. To me, that is exactly an FPX play. FPX, no matter if it was 1 or 2 picks, will always look towards this Baron and try and get the game rolling. You have the Kalista, you have the smite up for Trundle. I mean, this looks really good for FPX, and you're hoping for a miracle if you're V5.
7K, 6K, going down as Sam D now in position. Biubiu's in as well, and Tentacles Arrow slides them through. They start the engage, ulti used onto Tian. There's no jungler as Mole runs on in. They want the damage, they want the kills. They don't care about the Baron as Biubiu is going to come out of that death roll. Hits on down, it's secured with the Ren, but V5 have all the damage in the world. It's 1 kill, turning quickly into 2, with Tian dodging away nicely to survive. Mole slowed down thanks to the pillar. 4 low blinking health bars for FPX, but they get the Baron.
Exactly, that was so worth for the side of FPX. GimGoon goes down, but it doesn't matter. V5 were so close being able to just completely sweep that fight, but great flash coming out from Doinb, great sidestep from Tian, and everyone getting out scot-free.
Have a look again, because this was not the play. This was bottom instead that led to the Baron.
And just very nice shockwave coming out from Doinb, as you highlighted. We've said this man is the carry of this team. GimGoon's still massive at this point. Tian obviously just used his ultimate, so Weiwei not that strong right now, and they're able to secure those 2 picks.
FPX with the gold lead, Baron in hand. Look at the gold power play that we now have here in playoffs. 1,500 to start off with here for FPX. Doinb with a bounty. Tian with the same, who even has a QSS. To stop these objective plays from Biubiu, to take him out of smite range.
Now both teams posturing for the dragon.
Weiwei might be caught out. Runs away from Doinb. Has shockwave again, by the way. But 40 seconds till that dragon. GimGoon is responding mid, holding the wave, while the rest of V5 are moving into river.
And once again, we want to see V5 play from a distance, burst someone out, throw out the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, layer down the combo from Mole, and get the numbers advantage early on if they want to get up close and personal with FPX's comp, because that's where FPX thrives.
Yeah. As it spawns, Doinb now spot on the bottom side of the map. Baron buff. V5 are just going to commit mid. 5 people, they're like, screw the Baron. Let's go. And this is not going to be traded for now until that dragon comes up. But they're moving down in time.
Yeah, and right now GimGoon is zoned off from the other members. He doesn't have TP. If V5 can get here fast enough,
4K running on in. V5 now making their way as Weiwei wants to smite but not in range. Taken away by FPX. The shockwave pulls in the jungler. Dreadline doesn't connect with the Dark Passage, getting him to safety. Meanwhile, top laners are beefing it up. GimGoon dodges away from the Paddle Star, which would assuredly near killed him. With Baron buff in hand, recall in their first mountain of the game.
I'm surprised no Enchanted Crystal Arrow came out from Sam D. Feels like you could have tried to buy some time or even set up for Weiwei to get on one of the members of FPX and at least come out with a teamfight victory, but V5 playing it a bit more calm, a bit more slow, and that definitely just keeps favoring FPX, who, as we see, Doinb finally getting that Spellbinder, so going to be having those extremely bursty small trades.
You can see the back and forth because Mole found that double kill. Mole found early kills, which put him into acceleration mode. But Doinb has definitely been doing that himself. And meanwhile, in the bottom lane, GimGoon's going to get pulled back into the death realm, flashes over the wall, jumps with the leech strike. Rest of FPX are going to be here as the death sentence connects. ppgod doesn't go through, Enchanted Crystal Arrow used on Chris. Shockwave pulls back Biubiu. Dark Passage to save him, but V5 crumpling under this inner turret while FPX take mid.
Yeah, and again, FPX know at this point they can take anything they want. Doinb is at the point where he's massive. Right now, no one can duel GimGoon, and GimGoon is playing this Jax as more of a team fighting champion, not putting that side lane pressure. But hey, when your 4 core is so strong, Jax can definitely transition into this team fighting, kind of asset as well.
Trinity, Blade of the Rune King, Sterix coming, and Biubiu's given us the GimGoon experience, which we've seen many times on the Mordekaiser. Especially remember 2020 spring as LWX on that 2-item point himself with the Kalista.
To be honest, I don't know what kind of plays V5 can really hope for right now other than, whether it's pushing out a side, trying to commit, let's say, 4-man to picking off Doinb or GimGoon, and then hoping that they can transition that into vision and then set up for a dragon themselves. The ball is in FPX's court right now.
And we're going to see it again in 145. Baron coming up. So,
and FPX are still taking it slow is like the best part, is they realize, hey, we're still in no rush to win this game. We can still just catch waves near our base, get more items on the Orianna, and do even better going forward.
Because that 3 item, that 4th item coming through for Doinb is going to be huge.
also, as we have a bit of a lull, we can talk more about the implications of this match. And to point out, I was wrong coming into this match. FPX are guaranteed regional finals no matter what. Even if, let's say, like Suning and JDG meet in the final, doesn't matter. FPX will get there.
Of course, for everyone out there, summer points have changed, more impactful though. And so for FPX, what you want is to make the run. Like, just because you're safe in regionals, you could have the lowest seed as well. It's something that could mean they don't get a second chance. Remember, our regionals this time around, the 2 highest seeds get a lifeline. And they get the chance for getting the 4th seed at Worlds if they can't secure number 3. There will be a video about it. It'll look sick, Lyric, I promise you. As TP, hello! You said there's a lull. V5 don't want to give us one. Biubiu will be spotted out, though. And you know what? That was a TP. So away he must go.
And V5 are trying anything they can to find those creative picks like I talked about, right? They need to do something a bit more unconventional. Yep. They need to commit more resources to one side. They go for it. They hope they can find something special. They can't. GimGoon now picks up another turret. And look at this Jax. No one can deal with this Jax in the side lane.
And it's GimGoon.
And it's GimGoon. It's not Khan.
Oh, man.
You know, how salty must you be as Khan right now, though?
It's what I would have done.
Yeah, I don't know. This just gives so much more fuel to the side of fans that just argue for GimGoon.
Yeah,
like,
it really does. He can do it too. You know, and it is rare that we see GimGoon on a bit of a carry, right? We know he won't pick up something like the Quinn matchup into the Renekton, but willing to pick Jackson to Mordekaiser. And the early game suited him. The gold lead suits him. He's 3,000 over Biubiu, which is absolutely massive.
And again, a lot of that comes from missed plays from V5 on the top side, right? They were over-aggressing for some of these plays. And we've been talking about the whole time. Just abandon him. Just play for Samdi and ppgod. Start stacking up those dragons even earlier. Start finding those picks earlier and get this game rolling.
Hey, just note that 3K for Doinb is the lead as well over mid lane. Almost Flame Horizon, while bottom side, Samdi is actually Flame Horizoning onto LWX and then 3K gold lead himself. So each and every lane, there's massive differences, whether it's in the favor of V5 or mainly in the favor of FPX, who have that overall 4K gold lead. You talked about V5 aiming for options. The Mountain Soul might do something as they have river control now.
I honestly feel like they should just commit to this. You can even have Biubiu pull. I was going to say, pull Tian into the death realm. Tian is QSS.
Thresh locked down, half health. French line doesn't connect. You said it, Lyric. He wants to connect it, and he doesn't. As they go on the back line, Weiwei takes his old time. GimGoon is in the death realm. Here with the Mordekaiser. As he comes on out, he flashes over the wall, and he'll die. But Weiwei sacrificed his life. Mole will get some damage down into the core 4. But it is a 4 versus 4 in front of this next dragon.
And FPX have their jungler up, so they're going to keep looking for this.
Mole needs to hit something, and the shockwave here for Doinb could change it all. He flashes forward, hits the trouble bubble, forward he goes, healed as well, and Chandra's arrow doesn't connect. Space Call denies everything. ppgod in with the play, the box down. It is secured though. Shockwave though from Doinb might have saved it, and Samdi is now the purpose of this fight. ppgod taken, Mole left alone, and even though LWX was close to dying, it won't be the case. Mole wants Doinb, but a Quadra goes over, and FPX deny the soul again.
And it's just gone too late. FPX's comp is just stronger at this point in the game. Look at Doinb's items. Doinb has a Rabadon's death cap. He's extremely strong. LWX had so much room to deal damage. He has such a massive front line coming out from the Trundle and the Nautilus. And as we saw, Mole just can't find the angles anymore to burst out these priority targets.
And FPX now to Baron because the death timers are so skewed on V5. And you know what, Doinb, he did even more damage than Mole did.
That is absolutely insane, and why we highlighted him coming into this series. And once again, FPX picking up another Baron.
The second Baron, though, feels like it's going to be more impactful than the first. The way this game's gone, V5, it looks like they won't blow this out, as they were waiting for all 5 members to be up and available. The Baron goes down, and here we go.
Yeah, and we just see, like, V5 don't really have the ability to get onto the members of FPX. We see Doinb come in with the cleanse, and Chris getting pulled out with LWX's ultimate. Tian extremely tanky, is able to secure this fight. Chris is doing a great job of frontlining as well as setting up for LWX to dish out all this damage. And Mole, again, a squishy Zoe, isn't really able to go face first into the big damage dealers of FPX. Is trying to throw out the paddle swords, is trying to throw out the sleepy trouble bubbles. But ultimately, it's all for nothing.
Nice sidestep for Doinb in the end. And a Quadra kill in his pocket. And for V5, they show they can be mortal as Orianna's in this series need to be talked about.
And it makes you wonder, again, it's not over yet. Of course, a cheeky play can come out, but we're 7K gold lead for FPX. Makes you wonder what's going through V5's mind for next game.
Yeah. What changes? Because this is their, one of their ideal comps that we talked about. They got the Ashe again, they got the Thresh, all got his Zoe.
This is mid AD and support's most played champions this split. They got all of their comfort picks.
Biubiu has ulti, might have to use it early into Tian. Not going to let the Counter-Strike work, or maybe he's stunned up. Dark Passage down, he's just dead.
And this is what I was going to say about the last fight, that sure, you want to pull him into death row, make sure he can't smite. He has a QSS, so you can't single out Tian.
True. Well, triple control would have put down, but it won't matter because FPX have so much control themselves. And as the wave comes in, Inhibitor at the bare minimum with FPX at an almost 10K gold lead. They're running it through. ppgod out with the hook. It's under Chris though. Molt does a bit of damage to GimGoon, but the pillar was in an awkward position. Has the heal, but goes golden instead, while FPX and May just found the fight to end this one and keep the series alive. It's not over, Red Rover, even though Chris will die here. Sam D can't do much. Chanicus Arrow gets sent out. Inhibitor, the target. Nexus types will be moved on to though, and FPX want it now.
Yeah, and they'll just be able to push through. Sam D can't do anything, goes down, and FPX actually giving us a series.
Actually putting in the hard yards and recovering from the 2-0 start. We're going to game 4.
I just want to say, they are